What's up, everybody? We're excited to be here. This is the 7th time today that we're coming live on this digital learning day. Make sure you're following along with hashtag DL Day. We've been spending a lot of time with our good friends and partners today out in Florida at Broward County Public Schools. We've been highlighting some of their incredible teachers, instructional coaches, leaders, and students. And we are so excited to be here. We know there's a big crowd, so make sure you tell us who you are, where you're from. Tanika, looks like you're here already. I want to hear shout outs from people in those comments. I got to know many of you over the past 8 hours, so let's hear from you. I am pleased to be joined by my good friend, Melissa Loble, who's our Chief Customer Experience Officer over here at Instructure. There's our friend Lorianne. So excited and thankful that we got to participate with Broward today. Landon Spellberg, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling it right now, future president of the United States. And more importantly, Melissa and I will hire him very soon because he is that sharp. We'll hear more from him here shortly. Everyone, again, drop who you are in the comments. Melissa and I are excited to be here. Martina, welcome. Anna Maria, welcome as well. The next few minutes is really just all about you incredible educators. That's what, if Melissa and I could spend all day, every day talking about how inspired we've been over the past weeks, months, year. This pandemic has been crazy, and we are so grateful to learn from you and see you and hear you. And hi to everybody who's joining us. Keep all those comments coming. We want to share right at the very beginning just a fun little video that hopefully gives you an idea of how we're feeling about the incredible work that you're all doing in education. So enjoy.
Education gives me hope because I believe that knowledge is power, and as said by Nelson Mandela, education is the greatest weapon that you can use to change the world.
I care if my teacher cares because it makes me do better. It makes me to want to do better.
My friends, hopefully you got to have a little bit of a sense of just the gratitude that we have for you and all the great stuff that you're doing. I wanted to highlight a couple of key pieces from that video that you just saw. And please, in those comments, we love seeing all your comments and questions. Keep them coming. I want to see what you thought about the stuff you heard there. One of my favorite quotes, Nelson Mandela: education is the greatest weapon you can use to change the world. I come from a father who's been a lifetime educator, a mother who's a lifetime educator, and it's in my blood, I guess. I am so grateful for educators like you that continue to do incredible things. You may have seen some really fun stuff there in the video that kind of showed and hopefully highlighted that what you're doing every day really does matter. I love this part that said, so keep sharing, inspiring, adapting, leading, engaging, redefining, teaching, explaining, learning. Keep doing everything that you're doing. We notice you, your students notice you, we know the parents of the students do, and big congratulations to all of you for what you've done at Broward and specifically on this digital day of learning. Melissa, anything to add there from you?
You've said it so well, Mark, but thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of everyone at Instructure's heart, for the contribution that you're making to the world. by developing our generations for years to come. You may not have noticed, but this brought a tear to my eye. I am in my heart of all hearts a teacher. I started there. I will finish my career there. And I have so much respect for what you all do every single day. So big thank you from me and from Instructure as well.
Awesome. So everyone, big thanks to Eddie Small, who helped us pull together a lot of this stuff to make the Digital Day of Learning work with our great partners at Broward. We want to show just a little piece of some of the live streams that we did today with your incredible group out at Broward. So enjoy some of the next 2 minutes of this video. Here we go.
It's going to follow you when you leave your middle school and you get ready for high school. Canvas will be there. Discovery Education will be there. And most importantly, these great teachers, it's not just myself, it's great teachers all over Broward County, all over Florida, all over.
Together we said, this is what we do, this is what we know works, this is where data says it works. We can't just drop it because our platform changed or how we present changed. So it was a collaboration and the will to succeed even faced with the challenge.
The technology is just going to be an added plus. It's just like a gift. Now it's a gift rather than we're required to use it. Now it's going to be like, I can't wait to use it in my classroom rather than just sending it out over the waves, the airwaves.
You know, a lot of times we tend to think that our little guys can't do specific things on technology. But this time has really taught us that if we expose them and we have that expectation that they can do it, that they will rise and they will do that.
We use this innovative program so scholars are able to learn vocabulary. We're using a wide array of question types and activities that will help all students understand all the vocabulary meanings.
So I think, just having the resilience, being able to be creative in our thought processes, supporting my coaches that here or coaches and teachers with creative and innovative ways to include the vocabulary within your instruction and making it fun.
What I love about Broward County and the Innovative Department, they have been a great help to all the teachers. I took advantage of taking few courses with them a few times. Not the studio though. I really enjoyed the studio with Ernesto. Ernesto is an amazing teacher, I can say that.
It allowed for more communication and collaboration. And it really did start helping to kind of bring them in more and feel like we had a classroom community as opposed to just everyone sitting there looking at the screen.
For one way to learn, now we've got a variety of ways to learn, and that has really helped me. I want to say thank you to all the teachers for all the hard work that they do. It is certainly appreciated, and I look forward to more and more use of Canvas.
So everyone, that is just a fun little piece of what we've been doing the past 7 hours with these incredible educators out at Broward. And I do want to take just a second to highlight some of them. So we met this morning with Anjanette Washington Collins, who's an incredible 5th grade teacher. I want my kids in her class. We spent time with Christina. We spent time with Amy, Lindsay, Nadia. I would give shout outs to every one of them individually, but I know Lorianne's going to be saying, Mark, let's keep going, buddy. Wanda, James, Noemi, Heidi, and to this incredible student who, wow, if you've got students like this out in Florida, you're doing many things right. What a pleasure it's been to be with you today. We've really loved it. The question that Melissa and I want to answer today, and we would love to see any comments from you there in the comments section, is where do we go from here? We've seen a lot of people just make it through the past year. A lot of people really excel. And it's been fun and interesting to watch. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, Broward County. Melissa, I know you've had some pretty deep thoughts about where do we go and what are some of the big things that we ought to focus on? What are your learnings from the pandemic for education?
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I think that's such a great question. One of the things is when adversity hits us, the best communities rally together and take that adversity and turn it into opportunity. And I think just watching the clips from earlier, and I've been able to listen to some of the sessions, my goodness, what a great moment for the world to rally around teachers. And you certainly have done that at Broward. So where we go from here, I have a lot of thoughts on that. But I think first and foremost, the positivity, the community orientation, and this just innate drive to ensure that students are successful, we need to harness that and keep moving that forward. It's easy to I think about my own day. I think about my day this morning. This is why I had a tear in my eye earlier just watching the video. We get wrapped up in our days and the tasks ahead of us and the things we need to do, the very tactical, did I build this? Did I go here? Did I answer that email? And we don't step back and say, oh my goodness, but am I having that impact? And to be able to be a part of that and to see that is just really powerful. So I'll say that first and foremost, let's harness this. Let's keep this going. I have never felt more inspired about education, and I'm a passionate. For those of you that know me, it's really hard to not see my passion come through. I come from a family of teachers. That's been my entire career. Even when I was, Landon's age, I was helping my mother in her classroom. And so it's so much a part of me, and I've never seen the kind of excitement or positivity or community-oriented energy that I have in this last year. So let's keep that up. I think that's first and foremost.
Melissa, as we go through, we have kind of a list of 3 things that we'd recommend. Mm-hmm. I want to get your thoughts on what Diane has said over here in the comments, which I love. She says, keep listening to what the teachers and students need when they need it. That's what I learned as a media specialist. How can we as a technology partner, Melissa, do an even better job at listening? And what are we doing today?
Yeah, I think, gosh, that's such a good point, Diana. And the act of listening, we've been forced into a situation where we can't rely on body language or physical presence in the way we've been able to in the past. And so if you think about how we've had to do so much of our lives remotely, I hope that if they taught us anything, it's to be active listeners. And that's critical, right? That's critical as we teach. That's critical as students are engaging in their learning. And it's even more critical for those of us that are your support structure. And, I consider Instructure and Canvas and all that we do part of your support structure. We're here to enable you to be the success that you are. And so we need to harness that same active listening gene that we've all been faced with over this last year. And we need to not only listen and participate and engage in days like this, but we need to proactively be out there with your students, with your teachers, in your classrooms, virtual and physical, so that we can continue to learn about how we can enable your success or how can we empower your success. And part of that is asking very clear questions and then just letting the answers absorb and really process those answers. Part of that is not asking questions and just letting you share. We learn so much from both aspects. I'm doing a listening tour right now where I'm talking to our customers, and I'm just starting with an open-ended question of how can we create the best customer experience for you among any technology partner that you use, and leaving it and not asking another question. There's so much you can get from the answer to that, and so much you can get from the not answer to that, or the space in which sharing happens. So I think shaping listening in that way will be really important. And as a technology partner, we need to do more and more and more of that. There's never enough of that. And we need to make that a priority, and we need to make that a proactive initiative for ourselves, because so much change has happened. So much good change has happened. We can't assume the world looks like it did a year ago or even 6 months ago. So we need to hear from you so that we can keep moving that change along with you.
Awesome. And we do want to hear from you right now, everybody. Put those fingers on the keyboards. We got a great answer here from Ariel, who said, where do we go from here? I hope we continue to rely on each other as teachers. We don't need a global crisis to reach out to each other, share and support one another. Great point. Everybody keep those comments coming. We want to hear, what are you going to do today and tomorrow and in the future as some incredible educators from around the world? Where do we go from here? What do we do to make sure we continue to increase and get better at how we're teaching and learning?
You know, Mark, if I can, I love that comment from Ariel also, because we are all teachers, even if that's not our role, our predominant role. We are all teachers and we are all students. And if we remember those two and we center ourselves, I get up in the morning and there's just been so much happening over this last year that I've had to recenter myself a bit and do a lot of, I do my own meditation in the mornings now. And I think about that. I channel my teacher and my student, because I need to be both of those. And if I channel that, it opens me up for the opportunity to then help teachers and students as well. And I think it's a modeling, and it's also a mind frame. And then finally, it's a practice that we can all do together. So I agree. I hope that the pandemic, it'll be far behind us and we still all ground ourselves in being both a teacher and a student at all times.
Love it. Let's take a little shout out time here for our friend Lorianne and Daryl Diamond and everybody else on your team who have helped pull this incredible day together. Lorianne says, this past year has been a year of firsts for everyone. We've learned so much. Today is a celebration of those experiences. Taking time to look around will allow us to plan the road ahead. Love it. Looks like Mary here is saying professional learning and sharing of best practices never stops. You're so right. Good comment here that change instills growth and mental independence. Love it. Gladys, great comments.
Yep.
Paula, we need to keep sharing best practices and supporting each other. Focus on the positive. A year ago, it was stronger together. We need to remember that. So fantastic. Keep those ideas coming. We want everyone sharing, whether you're part of Broward County Public Schools or, you know, anywhere in the world. I know we've got people who aren't at Broward that are participating in this. Melissa, give us some thoughts. I know that one of the big things that you've talked about is needing to really humanize what happens in education. So give us your thoughts on how we need to humanize these learning experiences going forward.
Yeah, I think if we've learned anything from this last year, and even I hope from technology in general, it's that we have to remember the human needs to be at the center of any experience we're crafting. And so I think about, and I've talked about all of the innovations and predictions that I think will happen over the next 5-10 years. You know, it's everything from we're going to see wearables mainstream to we're going to see a more networked effect in the kinds of ecosystems we build. I mean, there's so much that we can predict. But the scary part about technology, and I've worked for technology companies for a good portion of my career, is that it has this alluring effect of dehumanizing things. Let's automate everything. Let's make things as simple and easy as possible. Unfortunately, technology, even though it comes with bugs, often can display this need for perfection in the technology because it works. It's always up. It does these things. Well, those things can put us at risk of losing our human sense. I've talked to a lot of actually teachers and technology advisors that talk about, well, how are we going to teach students how to be a human, how to be a whole human? And how are we as teachers going to remember to be a whole human? And I think in technology, we have to be really deliberate now about that, because it's, once again, so alluring to automate our lives, to create everything as quick as possible, to get just-in-time experiences, and to do all of those things that technology is great at, and then forget to take the time to remember we're developing people. We're developing people that are going to be contributors in our society well into the future. So we have to be so deliberate and clear about this humanization. So I think that's one thing. Technology can start to pull that away, and we need to be more aware of and very present in the way we humanize our experiences. The other thing that I'll say is, and you're all touching on this in the comments, and I love this, is that part of being human is part of being in a community. And I this is one thing that I've noticed over this last year, is that it's really lonely. It can be what you're trying to accomplish, especially if you're not physically in the same environment as people in the same way that you were. You can feel very isolated from your communities. And so just as we need to deliberately think about battling technology to make sure that we're humanizing learning and teaching and how we interact, we also need to battle this further isolation that's growing. I think there's a lot of things that we've done over this last year that we probably won't ever go back to doing the way we used to, right? A lot of in-person things. I, for one, am not going to the grocery store every day anymore. And I am definitely not going to engage probably in some of the ways I have in my community and not even thought about it. So I think we have to be deliberate about how we connect, how we share. Technologies need to support that. And we need to remember that our community is our humanity as well, and that we need to be very clear and deliberate about our actions to promote that community.
I love that. Everyone, we'd love to hear in the comments your ideas about how can we better humanize the learning experiences. Some of the comments that I love, this one from Tanika that was, we have truly learned to be present and connect. This one that says developing humans, love that. It's a balance. It totally is a balance, everyone. Keep those comments coming. Next up on the list, one of the things that we've learned is that we need to be willing to take risks and to fail and to learn and grow. Melissa, talk to us a little bit about your thoughts related to that.
Yeah, this is one that I feel really strongly about, and I am so inspired by the last year, particularly around this. So I started my career, my very beginning of my career, I started in a classroom. I taught public high school in New York City, and I helped run a nonprofit that supported environmental education internships for students that in some cases had never left New York City, let alone been exposed to the world around them. And I think about the actions that we took, both that I would need to take as a teacher and the actions I took in supporting that nonprofit. And there wasn't the space to fail like there is now. And I am so thankful for that today we actually can fail. And we're recognized for the learning that comes from that failure, not the failure itself. I think that is the only way we will innovate in education. We'll innovate what we do. We'll innovate in the world around us, is if it's okay to fail. It's okay to go take risks. I fast forward to, I've also run EdTech programs at a number of universities, and same there. We moved slow because we were so deliberate about our actions, and teachers so often were afraid to go try something new because they were afraid it would affect their evaluations, or it would affect their ability to do the things that they felt so passionate about. That has all gone away. I have watched teachers, I have watched districts, I have watched leaders in education take risks, fail, learn, grow, apologize, build, and it's more for the better, right? I've watched this happen, and the community rallies then around you and says, hey, great, let us look at what where you've arrived us. Look at how much farther down our learning path we've moved. And this is even better. And they're not even looking at the failure, or they're not even challenging you for why did you take that risk. So I am so happy to see that change, and I hope we don't lose it. I hope we don't go back to a world of perfection. I hope we don't go back to a world where taking risks or exposing your own vulnerabilities, especially as a teacher, is not acceptable. One of the best things that I personally have ever done for my own growth and development is to expose to my students, and I still teach to this day, why I'm doing things and why I need their help making those things work. That in and of itself, think about the lessons students are learning in that, and think about how we can, as educators, grow in our own selves, and then even more importantly, grow the practice around us. So one more anecdote. I was working with a a teacher actually out of Brazil. And he was telling me how, and he teaches physics, and he was telling me how he had a really hard time helping his students understand that they didn't have to be perfect in every project. And in fact, he built projects where you submit over time and you get feedback, and it's all about the process. Obviously, you need to learn the skills too, but it's about that process. But students, he would have these collection of students in his class that would just stress and stress and stress and ask hundreds of questions, and just you could tell that they were so worried about being perfect, and that they felt like specifically in the sciences there were right answers and wrong answers. And so as he entered into really teaching online, he had a hybrid class, and so now he's teaching fully online. He said, it's the first time I was able to get my students to feel comfortable, to take risks themselves, and to not be perfect, because they watched me blunder practically every time I was in my class. He's like, by the end of it, I got better work out of my students. My students learned more about physics and learned more about themselves as learners and as contributors to the science field than ever before. And it was all because they saw, okay, if you make a mistake or you can't figure that out, it's okay if I can't, and it's okay if other people can see that I can't. So let's keep this going. I hope that this positive spirit in education of it's okay to fail and learn because that's life will grow, because it's the only way we will be able to innovate and dramatically change and improve the way we deliver education across the world.
Fantastic, Melissa. So a couple of quick comments coming in from all of our friends around the world. Here from Michelle: failure is the springboard to success. So important that we as educators and students take risks without fear. Love that. Ellen shares lots of failures last year, but lots of growth. Without those failures, I would never have gained some of the skills I now have. Melanie: model how being perfect means we make mistakes. I love that.
I love that. And if I may say, Mark, I want to give a shout out to all of the leaders at Broward that have created the space for teachers to feel this way. You know, I've had many conversations with you, and you so model this. Thank you for that, because it doesn't take just teachers willing to make risks. It takes the leadership around them in educational or institutions to do that as well. So big thank you there.
Totally agreed. Here's this one right here that's great. Students need to learn to fail so they won't be so scared they fail without learning. Gentle feedback is the best to help.
Mm-hmm.
What fantastic comments. Wow. We're going to keep going because I know I don't want Lorianne mad at me for taking too much time. Lorianne, I could see in the background. I can't really. So our last one, Melissa, that I want you to touch on. We've spent time today with incredible Canvas partners like Newsella, like Nearpod, like Microsoft, and a whole host of others. And we've talked a lot about technology. Obviously, technology is really important, but the magic still comes from you educators. We are enabling you to hopefully help and do even better learning and teaching experiences with your students. However, you are the magic that exists in education. So talk to us, Melissa, about this new paradigm that you speak about. You know, how should teachers be working with technology moving forward?
Yeah, and I'm actually going to shift this new paradigm a little bit to how should teachers and schools and districts and educational organizations work with technology companies as well. So really quick, I think it's important that you set a high bar for us. You need to ask us of things. You need to expect quality, and you need to expect enablement and support of us as technology companies and as technology providers. So ask a lot of us, because it pushes us. We need you to do that. We don't want this to look the other way around. And honestly, I think, and I've seen places, not at Broward, but I've seen places over the years where I can tell we're pushing them. Every new release for example, that we push out, will push some innovative teachers to do some new things, but had we not pushed that, they wouldn't have thought to do that. And I'm going to challenge you to switch that up and to say, here's what we need of you. Even vision big, ask for the big things. Even if you don't think they're technically possible, ask those of us, because that we need you to lead the change and lead the innovation and lead the direction. And then we need to be able to quickly and effectively partner with you to respond to that. So that was my one. I think that's really important. Like, tell us where you need to go. And then the second one will be, remember everything we just said. We're humans and we're not perfect. And so help us learn from our own mistakes and help us be human. Help us make sure we're connecting with you where you need us to, and that we empower you to build the kinds of ecosystems that will give you the chance to just deliver the best education possible to your students, your communities, and everyone they touch.
Fantastic. For all of those educators that I met with today, thank you. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure and a kind of reinvigorating day to be able to see the great things that you're doing. There is going to be a special something sent to Lori Ann to share with those 10 educators, and Landon, of course, the future president, for just being incredible. We see you, we hear you, and we wanted to honor you today. So look for that coming to you here very shortly. As we close out, we want to share one last quick little video and then have a couple of closing remarks, and we'll be on our way. So listen closely to this next one.
When the going gets tough, people come together. Even when together feels a little different. Together, we've navigated new ways of living. Loving. Working. And learning. And it has been tough. But it's been worth it. One thing is certain, learning will continue. And it will continue to change. And we'll be there with you every step of the way, no matter where the road leads. As a platform, as a partner, as people. Together, we've got this. This is learning to the power of Canvas.
Everyone, again, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please continue to share your feedback. Let us know how we can do better for you. And thank you for just being fantastic educators. Melissa, close us out.
Yeah, so I will echo that thank you on a very personal level. Thank you for making my day, my week, honestly, my month, in being able to be a part of this and being able to be a part of your community. And thank you for making me a better person. And thank you for making everybody at Instructure better humans.
Thanks, everybody. It really has been a pleasure. Happy congratulations, whatever you say, to Digital Learning Day. Go follow #DL Day. A lot of this content will be available again forever on YouTube if you want to go check it out. And again, big shout out to our friends at Broward. Have a great time at the Rest of Tech meetup. See ya.